Show, Relationship Roundtable. You've watched him on television for over 3 decades. Now he's on the radio with Steve Bruneman, Calvin Johnson, and Trey Harris. Welcome to Relationship Roundtable.
Hello again, everybody, on this Sunday afternoon. 5:05 is where we stand. We will be here till 6 o'clock tonight. It is great to have you along. Been a great weekend, and looks a little inclement out there if you look west, but we're inside, and we've got lots to share with you. So jump on board and give us a holler if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. We're at 888-787-5543. Again, that's 888-787-5543. We are delighted to welcome Trey Harris, who was a little under the weather a week ago.
Feeling much better now.
You look much better. Of course, I don't know what you looked like last Sunday, but I can only imagine because I've seen some of the folks out there with those head colds and the flu bug and the congestion in the nose and the throat and you name it. And it's not a pretty
luckily,
sight.
I've kicked it. Yeah, I was down for the count for about 2 days, but luckily much better now.
Always good to have you back, Trey. And it's a similar situation, I guess, for Calvin. He was a little under the weather, but I think he's on his way in. He's running a bit late. Yep. Maybe he got caught in all that inclement weather out west. But in the meantime, Steve Bruneman has the week off. He'll be back with us next week. And I've got to pull a first, because I don't know as I've ever dumped out in the middle of a radio show, but I am receiving an award from the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback Awards tomorrow. Deshaun Watson, of course, the outstanding quarterback for the national champion Clemson Tigers, defeated Alabama in the national championship game. He is going to be the recipient as the top quarterback in the country in college football this year, and the Legends Award is going to be going to Jim McMahon. That's right, the Bears, 1985. Of course, Jim came out of BYU back in 1981 and was the first recipient of this award when it became the quarterback award nationally back in 1981. So he'll receive the Legends Award, and I'm going to be receiving the Founders Award tomorrow night. But they're having a kind of a VIP get-together with the mayor of Fort Worth tonight, Betsy Price, and some other dignitaries and what have you at Joe T. Garcia's. So I'm going to be heading out that way, and hopefully it doesn't get really rainy on I-30, but we'll be heading out there in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to turn the reins over for the remainder of the show to our special guest just a week ago, who we told you all about. She's a grad from SMU, and she's a broadcast journalism major. She was in radio and TV and worked for Fox Sports and ESPN and has been on the sidelines for football games and basketball games, and now is back at SMU doing broadcasting over there. So hello, Brooke Williamson. How are you? Great to have you along. Thanks for coming in at last-minute notice.
Well, thank you, Scott, for having me back.
Yeah, and you got to watch yourself because Trey's tough. He's an attorney, you know.
I am.
He knows the do's and the don'ts.
Advocate.
Yeah, you don't mess around with the big guy here. And he's got his cowboy boots on today because he's been out watching the rodeo in Fort Worth, right? You out there for the bull riding and what have you, right?
And it was actually at AT&T Stadium.
Is that where it was? Oh, okay,
PBR.
It wasn't. Oh,
yeah,
I thought it was
awesome.
Carter Stadium. Okay.
It was. No, not this time.
Okay.
It was the PBR championship, one of the majors.
That's fun to watch.
It was. It was. Brazilians really dominate that sport now.
I can't believe that. That's amazing.
It was. The top 2 contenders were both from Brazil, and they've really kind of taken over bull riding.
Well, I know you're a cowboy at heart, but what is it that because you don't have a horse, do you?
Not since I was a kid.
Yeah, you don't do any riding or anything now.
Not recently.
So what's the affinity? Where did that come from? That you have that much interest that you want to go watch all that?
It's just a lot of fun. I mean, it really is. You really do appreciate the athleticism that goes into staying on this animal that's trying to get you off of it for 8 seconds, and and you really appreciate what goes into the training and the discipline that it takes to be a top bull rider.
Would you like to be a rider?
I'm a little old for that, I think.
Well, I mean, not today, I didn't mean, but at any point in your life, did you have any...
No, my dad did, but he broke his arm when he was a teenager and gracefully bowed out. He actually was a bareback rider, and he was there last night.
Interesting. Well, last night, I know where you were, Brooke Williamson.
I know where you were, Scott Murray.
We were over at the Hilton Anatole, downtown Dallas, for the 27th annual Doak Walker National Running Back Awards, and that's where the top running back is announced each and every year. And it was Deontay Foreman out of the University of Texas at Austin. Outstanding runner, good guy. I was very impressed with all that he had to say. And the game day guys, Chris Fowler and company, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, they were all there as well, as they normally are. And I was back at the helm as the MC for it's 27 years now we've been doing that. That's amazing. And our good friend Vern Lundquist, of course, the icon from Channel 8, and of course went on to do such incredible things at CBS and just recently retired, one of the great play-by-play announcers. And so it's always good to see Vern. And he got up and made the presentation on behalf of Doak Walker, who used to live just down the street from him in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So, of course, it was 1948 that Doak won the Heisman Trophy while at SMU. And then, of course, the Cotton Bowl came to be known as the house that Doak built, just so they could get enough fans in there so they could see him play, because there wasn't enough room over on the hilltop. And then, of course, 10 years prior to that, in 1938, the fourth Heisman winner of all time was a guy named Davey O'Brien, all of about 5'9", 150 pounds, maybe if he was soaking wet. And he went on to the Philadelphia Eagles and then had a career in the FBI for many, many, many years, decades. But now the National Quarterback Award is named after him. So it's kind of neat to have two of the top offensive awards in college football each and every year, probably right under the Heisman. You've got the Walker and you've got the O'Brien, one for the running back, one for the quarterback, and they're both right here in North Texas. So that's pretty good stuff. And Herschel Walker was the Legends recipient last night, and I know you got your picture taken with him and had a chance to talk to him. He's a pretty good guy, isn't he?
He was very impressive. I just loved listening to him speak, especially last night when he was engaging with the game day guys and all the things he had to say. It was impressive. It was relevant. I mean, I was so impressed.
Yep. And what did they say? He's 52 years old now. Mm-hmm. And what did they say he did the 40 in? He
ran a 4.32 last week.
4.32.
Wow. That's impressive.
He's
for a guy
52
that age.
years old. Trey.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. There's not a better word for it.
And he does 1,500 push-ups a day, 3,500 sit-ups a day.
3,500 sit-ups a day. Now, I remember when he came here, joined the Cowboys. You know, he'd been at the USFL when Donald Trump owned the New Jersey Generals and that whole thing. And then that league folded, and he comes to the Cowboys. Cowboys had drafted him, I think, in 1985. So he comes to the Cowboys in 87. You know, I should have said something last night, and I did not. But we should give Herschel a ring, because Herschel is really responsible for most of the draft picks that we got from the Minnesota Vikings.
Absolutely.
In that trade in, was it 89, I think it was.
The Herschel Walker trade.
Yeah, the Herschel Walker trade, as it's come to be known. Mm-hmm. And guys like Darren Woodson and what have you are all responsible for being here because of that trade with the Vikings. And, of course, the Cowboys, 92, 93, 95, you know, three Super Bowl titles in 4 years. Thank you very much, Herschel Walker. But he was over the top. You could have heard a pin drop in there. And all the game day guys were most impressed. And I think everybody was talking about how he talked about family and coming together. And It was just very impressive.
His story, his background was, I knew a little bit of it. I didn't know the detail that he went into last night about how he was born with a speech impediment and how he had to overcome that. So he would just go to the library and read. And one time he was made fun of or something like that at school.
Yeah, was it in 8th grade or something that he got beat up? Or
yes.
I think that's what it was.
And he said that will never happen again.
Yeah, he went home and said, this will never happen again. You know, everybody kind of waiting to see what turned it around for him. Mm-hmm. And he just had always been picked on because of the speech impediment and what have you. Mm-hmm. And got home and just saw the light and whatever and said, not going to happen.
Right.
And he said, the rest is history.
I liked the point he made, and this is not word for word, not quoting him, but he made the point that if you don't know it's impossible, then it's not impossible. You just go do it. You just put your mind to it and you achieve it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I tell you what are we going to be talking about tonight? I know this is something that we have talked about off the air before, but with all that's going on with the media and the president and who's right and who's wrong and who's saying this and who's saying that, and take it away, my friend.
You know, I think it's the media and
kind of set it up before we go to break.
Well, I actually read a quote this morning from John McCain, and John McCain expressed his dismay at Trump's attempting to censure the press, or Trump's constantly blaming the press for fake news, etc. And so I thought the discussion tonight would be, is the press fair, and is it right for the president to attempt to censure and or degrade the press?
How about it, folks? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight, and I'm sure you've got an opinion or 14 on that. So give us a holler. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Is Trump going overboard? Is the president going overboard on his condemnation of sorts, I guess, of the media, or is the media a little out of control in questioning the man with the most powerful job on the face of this earth? Are they giving him a fair shake? Are they going a bit over to the right, to the left, to the to stand up, sit down, fight? You kind of get where we're going with it. So give us a holler. It's 888-787-5543 as we continue on this edition of the Scott Murray Show, Relationship Roundtable with Trey, with Steve, and with Calvin. I'm Scott Murray, and along with our special guest, Brooke Williamson. When we return, we'll be back right after this.